Wanted to get to Ohio State here on Group Chat Football Live. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. The Ohio State fans, man, they showed out for us big time. Last time we had a Buckeyes video here, and we were talking about the offensive coordinator search, and a lot of what we talked about there we'll get into a bit here with Brian Hartline officially being named offensive coordinator last week. But just wanted to get into this offseason of change for Ohio State D. Of course, yesterday's news with Matt Patricia, as he's going to be the defensive coordinator. He was obviously a long-term Patriots coach, former Detroit Lions head coach, and we'll get more into his background here. But again, man, when you're the champs, you have to understand there's going to be a lot of change. Ryan Day got over the hump, as we all know. That scrutiny, it's gone for now. But he's had to make some really important decisions, and they haven't been, it's one thing to say it's an important decision, but they haven't been easy choices either, right? Hiring from within with Brian Hartline, a guy who has been coordinator in the past, but has never called the plays as he's going to do now with Chip Kelly moving on. And then on the defensive side of the ball here, Matt Patricia, honestly, a guy who has not had much success out from underneath Bill Belichick as a defensive coordinator, did not work out as the Lions head coach, took over the play calling duties for the Eagles in 2023 defensively. They didn't see much of an improvement there from Sean Desai from when he took over the play calling duties there. So again, not much recent success here with Patricia on the defensive side of the ball. Hartline, a completely unproven play caller who's going to be with a new quarterback there. So just in general, man, I mean, what do you make of all of this change right now at Ohio State?
I see someone in Ryan Day who's taken a lot of criticism as recently as the end of this past season, regular season, ends up proving the doubters wrong, winning the national championship. And when something like that happens, if you're Ryan Day, you're saying, man, all these people try to tell me how to do my job. I stuck to what I believed in, and I'm the national champion. And now I'm secure. So the last thing I'm going to do is do what everybody thinks I should do if I don't believe it, right? I'm going to do what I think is the best thing for this program. And I have the confidence that, number one, I'm not going to get fired, right, anytime soon because he just won the championship. And number two, that if it's something, I don't have to listen to what everybody else says, because when I listen to myself, even if it didn't work out immediately, ultimately I was proven right by my decisions and we won the championship. So I think he's very much emboldened, and that's allowing him to do things that he wants to do. Hartline, we know the story there. Elite recruiter. Jeremiah Smith would not be at Ohio State without Brian Hartline. Ohio State would not be holding that national championship trophy without Jeremiah Smith. So the recruiting alone for Brian Hartline speaks for itself. Of course, he was an NFL player, very, very good one. Very good player in college. I thought he was a very good NFL receiver in his prime down here in Miami. We saw him a ton. So he's somebody who knows the position very well of wide receiver, has proven to be a developer of wide receiver talent on top of being a recruiter. When you see his NFL track record, now calling plays, whole new horizon. He's been learning under Ryan Day. It's time to see what he's got. Ryan Day, I think, could always step in and call plays if he needs to. Obviously, he doesn't want that to happen, but this is the guy in Hartline who has been building to this moment, and I think that makes sense. I think Day's saying, look, it doesn't work out, I can always step in. When it comes to go ahead, Pete.
No, well, and just real quick on just to touch on the offensive coordinator and Brian Hartline, he spoke to 11warriors.com the other day, and he said, great honor, very humbled by it. I mean, coach can select anybody in the country he wants to be the offensive coordinator at Ohio State, and he trusted me to be one of those guys, so it means a lot. So he said that he could have chosen anyone in the country, but we spoke about it on the other video, man. I think it was going to be a very tough for him to say no to Brian Hartline, considering what we just spoke about, not only Jeremiah Smith, his track record, bringing in talent and developing it, but like, is there a chance that if he's not the guy, there's some worry about what happens with Jeremiah Smith, considering, again, you're replacing the quarterback here?
Yeah, look, it's stability in a time of a lot of change, right? Even though he's a new play caller, he's been around the program. He knows the lingo. He knows how Ryan Day operates. He knows the personnel. So it's a stable decision, even though he is new to calling plays. And worst case scenario, I think Ryan Day takes over and calls plays. I don't think he's planning on that. I don't think anybody wants that or expects that. I think the plan is just going to work. And Brian Hartline will be one of the best young offensive coordinators in America. On the defensive side, I think that one to me is more questionable on paper from the outside because, like you said, Patricia has not had a lot of success away from Bill Belichick. He's had some high-profile failures. Wasn't really doing much last year as far as on-field coaching. So it's definitely a risk. He also has, there's some off-the-field stuff from way back when, but when things aren't going well, people are going to point to that indictment on sexual assault when he was back in college. Because that's what happens when things don't go well and you have those kind of things in your background. Obviously, I'm sure Ohio State did a comprehensive background check and feels good about that whole situation. It's not like he hasn't been hired a million times after that. It's just something that we all know how college football is. Things don't go well. Those sort of things get amplified. One thing that I take from this is Ryan Day was an NFL guy. He was a quarterback coach of the Niners. He was in the NFL for a while. So he has a different kind of respect for NFL guys, and he's not afraid to make maybe unpopular or controversial picks with a guy that he believes in from that NFL level. Chip Kelly being the most recent one. Of course, Chip Kelly was a college guy when, in terms of being being at UCLA as the head coach and when he did at Oregon. But Chip Kelly had that NFL experience as well. So I think that is something that Ryan Day really respects and values in some of these coaches, is that NFL experience, because he himself has that NFL experience.
This is a really interesting quote from him, and I believe this was from the media row at the Super Bowl, and this is from Front Office Sports, as he said he was intrigued by the idea of coaching in the NIL era. So this is last week, and this was before this news became official. So obviously there might have been something in the works here, but he says, it's free agency every day. You can build your rosters really quick. I love the direction it's going. So this is hilarious because this is completely opposite of what you hear college coaches behind the scenes saying, that they want to actually get to the NFL, most of them. Not all the head coaches want to do that, but a lot of the assistants want to do that because they don't have to deal with this recruiting in the portal. But it is funny because I think that's something that probably deterred a lot of NFL coaches in the past was, man, you really have to be there for a few years to turn a situation around. Whereas in the NFL, you get a couple strong draft classes in a row and you sign the right guys and you could be good right away. So I think that's kind of where he sees it transitioning.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see how he's received in Michigan, right after Detroit didn't work out so well. I'm sure there's a lot of crossover between Lions fans and Wolverines fans, so they're not going to be too excited to see Patricia. But he's someone who's, his whole thing that he's always said is he likes to adapt to the talent that he has. So we'll see how he adapts to that talent, like you said, with the NIL, the one-year free agents, the kind of players he targets. Ohio State's recruited so well on the defensive side of the ball. They don't need a ton of help in the portal, but they lost a lot, right? You lost a lot of guys to the NFL.
Eight guys defensively that they're losing. So
yeah, impact guys. So it's going to be interesting to watch. But I think what you're seeing is, I don't want to say it's a Ryan Day heat check, but it's Ryan Day doing what he wants to do, because in his view, and how could you argue with him, he's earned the right to do what he wants to do.
Yeah, and look, Ohio State fans are probably going to get on me in the comments and say that I sounded a bit negative in my tone. And it's just, I agree with what you're saying. He can do, Ryan Day can do what he wants. He shut everybody up this off season. But like, these are the decisions that either keep you at the top or, really see you take the steps back. So it's going to be intriguing to watch this year, without a doubt.
Yep. Comment here from Jacoby Graggs. You see him. He says, "You guys see the Rob Ryan press conference? You can see that on Group Chat Sports. We clipped it up and put it out there, Jacoby. So if you want, we definitely saw it. It was a great video for us, but huge number of people loved it.
I have a feeling there's going to be some more moments like that, man. And we're looking forward to spring ball here, as he, whatever you call it, as he says. So we'll have you guys covered with all those funny moments. Keep it locked on Group Chat Football Live. Short live show today, but we have more content coming today. So stay tuned on the page. Have a top 5 videos for transfers in terms of the SEC and basically off seasons. So looking at which programs have the best off seasons, and we're going to do that across the land, right? So every conference, we're going to do that here in the coming weeks. And again, keep it locked on Group Chat Football Live and Group Chat Sports. Like this video and subscribe to the channel. See you guys later.